Hey guys, Marsinkin here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we are going to be taking a look at the EZA for Hachan and 17, or Android 8 and Android 17, 8er and 17, whatever you want to call them. Just got their EZA today on Global. Now, this unit was instrumental in me being able to beat Android's Extreme Super Battle Road with no items before the tech androids came out. Obviously, your boy, being the king, had to get it done before the cheat code unit came out, and these guys were very, very good. So obviously I did link level them ahead of time. I gave them a bunch of extra dodge because they are primarily a defensive unit, but once I've tested them out, obviously I might change their build a little bit now that we have their EZA. So they EZA'd, obviously, free-to-play cards with an EZA, pretty standard, 3 key, 77% leader skill. They also have physical types, 3 key, 50%. Their super attack is raised attack for 1 turn, does supreme damage, and has a high chance to stun. So obviously the 50% stun chance useful for Super Battle Road as well. They get attack and defense 125%. They get an additional attack and defense 80%, chance to perform a crit 25%, and 25% damage reduction when HP is 80% or less. So I'm not a huge fan of that being gated in that way, because obviously like if they're on turn 1 especially, they're not going to have that, right? But when they do have it, then obviously a lot of extra defensive power, as well as the fact they get extra attack as well. Then they guard all attacks from 8 turns for the start of the turn. So starting from their first appearance, we now have 8 turns of guard with them. And then they get an additional attack and defense 80% and launch an additional attack that has a medium chance to become a super for 8 turns after receiving an attack. So the initial problem straight away with this unit, which has become very evident literally in just trying to get to the point of recording this video, is the fact that they're just not on any teams. So they are on androids and joined forces, and that's it. Now, the only thing that we have that's even close to like an android's 200% lead is AGL Cell, and then obviously the Gammas are coming out tomorrow. But Cell, his leader skill revolves around, like, the main 170 portions are Android/Cell Saga or Power Absorption, which these guys aren't on. And then the Gammas, all their leader skills revolve around, like, movie heroes. I think one of them might have a 170 for androids as part of their leader skill. I'd have to double check, but there is no, like, 200% lead that these guys are on. So I'm running them on the double 170 with the Android 13. So shout out to people who set their Android 13s for me. The one person that I actually have on my friends list that I asked before I made the public tweet, and it's the reason why we're in the legendary Vegeta event, is because I jumped into the Red Zone Shadow Dragon stage, because you guys know, like, I've been using that stage quite a bit recently to showcase units, and literally he supered the friend Android 13 in slot 1 as the first attack and killed him, because unfortunately, just like this run, 8er and 17 were on turn 2. So, not exactly the best start, you know. Very difficult to find Android 13 friends on the friends list, surprisingly. But yeah, so we managed to get to this point and actually have them on a team. Now, we should have gotten the buff. We've got the 40% support. In terms of their best link partners, it's going to be these guys, right? They share 4 links with them: Android Assault, Solid Support, Cold Judgment, and Tough as Nails. So with the extra defense and the fact that they got hit last turn, see, now they're at 325k defense with guard. And these guys are giving a... what is it they give against a super class enemy? So they're giving 34% attack and 16% defense. So if we had an extreme class enemy, they'd be giving even more defense. So 325k is pretty good here. So I think what we'll do, you don't get any extra links, do you? No. Well, it doesn't really matter who's in slot 1, I guess, because neither of them are going to kill Vegeta before the androids at the end get a chance to attack. So they are heavily supported on this turn, because remember, 19 and Jiro are giving 40% support as well. But let's see what they do here, because obviously being able to get hit in slot 1 on their first appearance is obviously good for them, so that they get that extra 80% attack before they get to go. But yeah, 3 million. I mean, their attack stat is not really the reason you're going to ever be running them on a team, right? You're probably, and then we get the additional, I think we got an additional normal, right? So then we got the additional super attack from the hidden potential system. So not too bad. Obviously, they are raising attack for 1 turn. I do think, like, you know, raise attack and defense wouldn't be too much to ask, I don't think, with this unit. Because when it comes to EZAs, people always want every EZA to, like, raise defense or stack defense or something. But when it comes to units like these guys that are on so few teams, I don't understand why you wouldn't make them, like, super good, right? Because, like I said, they're only on 2 categories. They don't have a 200% leader. So what's the harm in making them, like, incredibly powerful? Or at least as good as they can be in that situation, right? So let's go ahead and do this. We'll just get through this turn nice and quick. We've got the good old Super 17 and Android 13 rotation. When Android 13 gets an EZA, if he gets a really good EZA on the level of some of the units that we've seen recently, like Metal Cooler, Kid Goku, the Namek Goku, Full Power Super Saiyan 4 Goku, all that sort of stuff. If that 13 gets like a really good EZA, I could see these guys being a good rotation again, because they're on Cell's 200% leader skill. It's just the fact that 13 is kind of outdated at this point. I mean, he can still do okay damage, but his defense is not great. And obviously his leader skill, we are running the double leads for him for this showcase. He only has 130 for his HP, part of his leader skill. So the team does have a lot lower hit points than we would have if we were running a better leader, right? So now we have no support from the extra unit, right, from this extra Android 13. But we do have... Do you get any extra links from you? Nope. Okay, fine. And then we have, what, 278k defense on this turn. We still have the buff, because obviously the good thing is, as long as they take a hit, then they have that extra defense for 8 turns, which is pretty good. So we'll go ahead and do this. What kind of attacks? I mean, normal attacks, we're just going to be taking double digits. Now, the problem is, when it comes to the more difficult content, like the red zone bosses and stuff like that, on the turn that we saw, like, with support, where we had, like, 320k defense, if we're on a turn where we're starting at 80% less HP, then they're going to look really good, especially if it's within the first 8 turns, because they're going to have that level of defense, they've got guard, and then if we're below the 80% HP threshold, they have 25% damage reduction. So I feel like on their best turn, they can look really, really good. It's just the fact that they're hindered by so many weird parts of their design. And I know, like, they're last year's Halloween cards, so they're not supposed to be like a super serious top meta level unit. But honestly, I was genuinely surprised by how useful I found them in Super Battle Road. But again, the biggest problem with that is, like, Android's Extreme Super Battle Road, I say come and gone, right? I'm sure there are people that maybe still haven't done it yet, but it's an old stage, so chances are you've beaten it already, unless you are just severely lacking on the Android units. And then Joined Forces. Do we have a Joined Forces stage? Maybe we have the normal one, but we don't have the ESBR one yet. And then at least, I guess, with their one of their better link partners being the physical 16 and 18. At least they'd be on Joined Forces as well. And then so are 19 and Giro. So they have some units that you could run them with on that stage for that Super Battle Road run. But that's it, because they're only on those 2 categories. I think that is the biggest disappointment for this unit, is we can nitpick little parts of their kit and stuff like that, but the fact that they're only on 2 categories and they don't have a 200% lead. Like, if they were on Cell's team, then, like, Cell's team is crying out for, like, a really, really good slot 1 unit. Alright, we can get Shouting the Limit if we put you in the middle. So 330k defense on this turn is definitely very, very good. So let's go ahead and do this. We'll do this. Yeah, so if they were on Cell's team, even if they don't even have to be on his 200% lead, it's just unfortunate that that's the way Cell's leader skill is built. If they were on Cell's team, I could imagine running them and using them as a slot 1 unit. Now, obviously, they're not going to link up super well with Cell, but with the way his team is kind of currently sat, you probably just want to have a unit in slot 1, like somebody like Int 16 that can tank but doesn't necessarily have the best links, then you have Cell in slot 2, and you just run a bunch of slot 3 units that are going to give Cell his links, like other Cell units, right? Like this STR second form Cell, stuff like that. So I feel like they'd be in such a better place if they were just on that one more team, but because of the structuring of Cell's leader skill, they're obviously not on that team. So I guess all we can really wait for now is another unit, like, because for them to be on a 200% leader, that leader is literally going to have androids or join forces as one of their 170s, and then the other one as the 30, because they're the only 2 categories they have. So I guess a Carnival LR that has 200% for androids, we could see something like that in the future. I think that would be pretty cool. But yeah, until like something like that happens, they're not going to have a 200% lead. And again, going over their kit, I don't have a huge amount of issue with most of the stuff in their kit. It's just that whole only having the damage reduction when they're at 80% or less HP. Because let me just check, what was the pre-EZA? So pre-EZA, it was 17% damage reduction when HP is 80% or less. Like, so they bumped it up to 25% from 17, but they kept the 80% HP threshold. Considering this is a free-to-play unit, who at their most supported on this team, we've only seen hit like just over 300k defense. I don't see why they didn't just have it. Like, why do they have a HP restriction? Just give them 25% damage reduction. Or at least give them the permanent guard. Because remember, they only have guard for 8 turns. So now on this turn, I believe we will not have guard. And yeah, we've only got 231k defense with Jiro and 19, which means we've lost the buff from being hit first. So I'm not going to heal, I'm not going to use an item or anything. Let's go ahead and see what actually happens with them in slot 1. Because like I say, they should have lost their guard now. Yeah, so we still take double digit from normal attacks, but again, this is the Legendary Vegeta event, so it's not like it's particularly difficult. But in a Red Zone event, them losing their guard is obviously a big deal. Now, turn 10, a lot of stages are you necessarily still going to be going on turn 10, but then with this team, probably, because it's the only team that they're on. So yeah, they definitely need a better home, and then I think they could look a lot better. But again, for I keep like coming across these really annoying. I want to say like, oh, you know, they're going to be really good for Super Battle Road. Except as we already talked about, they're only on 2 teams, and one of them, the stage came out ages ago. So very disappointing, because I do think the unit is actually quite good and probably underrated in some senses, but just, yeah, I feel like they're going to struggle to have a place, which is really unfortunate. But let me know what you guys think down below of Hachan and 17. Like I say, decent unit, couple of nitpicks with the way their kit is designed, and then, yeah, the biggest problem is just the fact that they're really not on a lot of teams. So I don't know when I would ever use them after this, basically. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.